Okay, when you think world record athlete, what pops into your head? Speed, right? Maybe strength? Endurance? Yeah, I'm gonna guess a chicken probably isn't on that list, but it should be. Let me introduce you to the Australorp. This bird is a quiet champion in the poultry world, and today we're gonna decode the secret behind its absolutely incredible performance. So, that leads us to the big question, right? How does this one specific breed consistently crush the competition in egg production? What's its secret weapon? Now, you're probably thinking it's gotta be genetics, or maybe some fancy diet. And yeah, sure, that's part of it. But it's not the whole story, not even close. The real secret, well, it's all in its head.
Yup, you heard me right. The secret sauce for the Australorp isn't just physical, it's psychological. We're going to dive into the unique mental traits that make this bird, which looks pretty ordinary, into an absolute egg-laying powerhouse.
Okay, let's get into it. Time to decode the mind of this champion. The first big clue is a core psychological trait that just makes it different from pretty much any other chicken out there. So this first key trait, it's something called social tolerance. And a good way to think about it is, imagine a workplace with zero drama. Seriously, none. That's what an Australorp flock is like. They just have this built-in ability to get along, which means way less pecking, less fighting, and you guessed it, way less stress. It creates this super calm, stable little society where all that energy goes to good use instead of being wasted on squabbles. And you could really see this resilience in action when things get tense. Just picture a hawk flying overhead, okay? For a lot of other breeds, the more skittish ones, that's it. Total panic. It can throw the whole flock into chaos for hours. But the Australorp? Totally different story. It stays composed. Sure, it'll take cover, but then it's right back to business. That kind of mental toughness is absolutely crucial. And get this calm temperament wasn't some happy accident. Nope, it was engineered. The Australorp was actually developed from a much more active ancestor, the black Orpington. Breeders in Australia very deliberately selected for the birds that were the least flighty and the most focused. They basically designed a perfect chicken for the job. All right, let's look at the next piece of this puzzle. And this one's kind of weird. It's a bit of a paradox. You'd think a calm bird would be, well, an inactive bird, right? But that's not the case here at all. In fact, one of its most active behaviors is the real key to its stability. And this quote from the research really just hits the nail on the head. See, for an Australorp, foraging, it's not just about finding a quick snack. It's more like a full-time job. It keeps their minds constantly busy, constantly engaged. It's a powerful mental stimulant that actually prevents a whole other set of problems from cropping up. So what you get is this amazing feedback loop. It all starts with that intense drive to forage. That gives them constant mental stimulation, which in turn stops them from getting bored and developing those neurotic behaviors you see in other cooped-up chickens, like feather pecking or just general anxiety. And the end result? You get a focused, stable flock where all that mental energy is being put to good use. So what we're left with is this really fascinating contrast, right? You look at them and you see this heavy, docile bird. But under that calm exterior, there's this super agile and curious mind that's always mapping its world, solving little problems and staying engaged. Their calm isn't laziness, it's pure focus. Okay, so we've established that the Australorp has this uniquely stable mind. But how in the world does that connect to its body? Let's connect the dots. Let's draw a straight line from that calm psychology right to its world record egg production. And I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to say a chicken is calm, but how does a state of mind actually translate into a physical thing, like a brand new egg, day after day after day? Well, it all boils down to one simple word: energy. Think about it. Stress is biologically expensive. It costs a ton of resources. When an animal panics, its body shunts a huge amount of energy into that fight-or-flight response. But the Australorp, it just doesn't waste energy like that. Its calm nervous system holds onto that precious fuel and dedicates pretty much all of its biological resources to one single job: making eggs. And that brings us to the final reveal, where it all comes together. We can see exactly how this unique psychological profile forges that perfect, unbreakable link between a calm mind and a super productive body. So when you lay it all out, the whole system just makes perfect sense. That high social tolerance, it keeps flock stress way down, which leads to consistent laying. That calm response to danger, it means the biological assembly line never gets shut down by panic. And that intense foraging drive, It channels all their mental energy into something productive, instead of wasting it on neurotic stuff. Each one of these traits is a critical piece of the puzzle.
So, look, if you take away just one thing from all this, make it this. For the Australorp, the mind and the body are not separate things. They're totally connected. That psychological stability isn't just some nice personality quirk, it is literally the fuel that drives the engine of its world record performance.
Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? If the secret to a chicken's absolute peak performance is all in its head, what other incredible connections between psychology and performance are we missing? What other secrets are just hiding out there, in plain sight, all around us, just waiting for us to figure them out?